Today I'm making some candy cane themed nails. Please don't mind my voice, I'm just getting over a cold and I am doing my absolute best here. I'm going in with this beautiful red color. It looks absolutely gorgeous. This is one of my favorite holiday reds to use. It has a very bright red kind of look to it, and it's hard to see right now in this lighting, but it does have some glitter in the background. There's a bit of, I think, red glitter and then some holographic glitter as well. And it looks absolutely stunning if you're under the sunlight. It's one of the reasons that I adore it. And I'm just going in with my first coat. I did forget to film the base coat. It was just a regular base coat to try and help from staining. Because as much as I'm okay with staining, I would like them to look as natural as possible. But sometimes that's not always an option, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with having stained nails, and I'm okay with that in general. But I do like to stop it when possible. Just going in and trying to make sure I cover up the sides of my nails again. I do have a bit of a C-curve, which makes it a bit harder to see if I painted the sides properly. For the candy cane aspect, I do not have a steady hand, as you may have noticed in some of my videos, so I am going in and using a candy cane themed nail decal. I just soaked it in some water, and now I'm just going to tap it onto my fingers. I'm just tapping. I did have to do some of that off camera because it is very hard to do while you're on camera. It's harder to move your fingers around, and I'm just kind of curling it over the tip of my finger to make sure that the whole thing gets covered. Once you're finished doing that, I would recommend filing the excess decal off. Once it's secured on there, I usually cut the tip off and then file away after. But you have to make sure that the nail polish that it's attaching to isn't too wet, otherwise it will rip the decal. That's something I should have mentioned actually. Underneath my stripy nail decal, there is a layer of clear nail polish for the decal to attach to. And you just want to make sure that before you put any top coat on that nail decal that it's had time to dry and that there's no air bubbles in it. Otherwise, whenever you put the top coat on, I don't know how or why it does it, but the color will disappear and it will ruin the decal. And here I am just going in with the top coat. I'm covering that nail decal first. I find sometimes with red polishes, it can smudge onto the top coat. I think it's just because they're more vibrant if you're not careful. So I do like to do my decals first, just to make sure that it's secured and it's looking good. I forgot to put this in earlier, but this is just me punching holes in one of the nail decals and getting little hearts for part of my design. And just punching the little hearts out of that. Yep, and I'm just going in and putting a thin layer of top coat on. As you can see with my pinky nail there, you can see a bit more of the glitter coming out now that I've got a top coat on it. And I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. I am a huge fan of glitter and sparkles. So I absolutely love when I can incorporate them, even as just a little background bit. They don't have to be in your face all the time, but I absolutely adore when they're there. I'm just going in and making sure I get the top coat on all of the nails. This just assures that the color stays on longer and looks good. I try not to put too much top coat on my nail at once, otherwise I find it floods my cuticles and it's just a bigger mess to clean up, which is why you see me going back and forth between putting it on my fingernails and dipping back in the bottle. Now I'm going in with my little hearts that I cut out earlier. I'm just going to carefully place them on my middle finger and just keep going back and just placing them on there. You can place them wherever you want. I was trying to do a little bit of back and forth, left to right. But yeah, sometimes for that one it went a little bit too far over and overlapped on the other one. But once you get them down on there, it can be hard to move them depending on how wet the color is underneath. So I just decided to leave it there. I thought it looked cool. I didn't mind it being like that. And I'm just going back in with a layer of top coat. I decided to use a thicker layer this time just to make sure everything stayed in. I find the top coat from Holo Taco really allows glitters and any decals to shine through. I don't know why, it just looks glossier. So I like to use that one first, and then I'll go in with some Seche Vite just to make sure everything's in there and secure. And I find that combination really looks nice and just keeps everything where it's supposed to be. And I think that's important. Just knowing what goes where and the best combination. This might not be the best one for you, but it just works out for me the best. But I also will just use one of them or the other, depending on what I have available to me in the moment. Both work great. I just like using a little combination of both. I find that works the best for me. I'm just going in and finishing up, painting the top coat on all of them. This just makes sure that everything is really secured in there, especially those hard decals. Because if you get those wet and they're not secured by a top coat, it will ruin the decal. All the color will come off, and you'll be left with just a bit of white wherever they were. Which is very disappointing. I've had it happen to me once. I didn't realize that would happen. I should have. And I didn't, and they just turned all white. And I was devastated after working so hard on a manicure. Just finishing up with the top coat. You want to make sure you get all the way to the sides and wrap the tip. And that concludes the manicure. This is how it looks. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you liked it.